If you ask the average Wizard101 player what the most annoying side activity is in Wizard101, 9 out of 10 times they'll tell you that it's pet training. And you know what, man? That's a real shame in my opinion, because I feel like pets are one of the best things about Wizard101 when it comes to customizability. Look at this pet, for example. My stats were low on accuracy, and my strategy didn't really revolve around trap counters. To make up for that, I put an accuracy talent on, and I even got a talent that literally summons a trap counter card to my hand. With how much customizability a pet can give you, I think it's an extreme shame that the barrier is so high for making a pet on Wizard101. Now, Wizard101 recently put out a new update to make pet hatching more accessible. And honestly, the way that it works is simple. Let's say that you're browsing for, I don't know, a Storm Ward pet. You search for Storm Ward, you search for all the talents, and you see 102,000 cost. It's a lot, right? You don't want to do all this. Basically, they cut these costs by incentivizing you to hatch in person. So instead of hatching in the kiosk, you can actually hatch for an in-person hatch. And if someone with a Storm Ward pet is online and available, what you can do when you search for talents is do a very cheaper in-person hatch. Now, I'm not 1,000,000,000% sure if it's glitched or not, but when I scrolled through these, right, I started seeing a player is busy symbol. And after a couple of, player is not busy, I would only see players busy. What you're seeing here is what I've experienced while using this feature. Now, I don't know if this means that everyone truly is just busy or offline that, offered these pets, but I think, with the very, very high number of pets that you can get, it's weird that only a couple are available to in-person hatch. It's almost like this feature barely works. So while the feature might be a good idea in theory, in practice, it doesn't really seem to work, and it brings us back to square one with pets. Pets are expensive to hatch for gold. Pets are expensive in terms of crowns because you need energy, and you also need hatching elixirs and peros if you really want to speed it up. Now, in my opinion, if Wizard101 is truly going to be serious about making pets more attainable in Wizard101, then there needs to be a few fundamental changes to the way pets work in general. Let's talk about the way talents carry over first, right? Let's say that I have this pet, Pain Giver, Ice Dealer, Double Resist, Armor Breaker. That's a pretty standard pet. And let's say that I wanted to add a ward to it. Maybe I'm struggling against Myth on my ice. I want Myth Ward. You would think that hatching this pet that, has a bunch of talents other than Myth Ward, with this pet, which shares a couple of talents and has Myth Ward, you would think hatching these two would be a pretty foolproof way of getting a pet with most of the talents that you had on the original pet and Myth Ward added on. But even something as simple as this will take you dozens of hatches maybe to get the exact Myth Ward with the other talents you need because of all the other talents in the pool that are officially just, messing with you while you're making this pet. I think that's problem number one and one above all right now when it comes to pet training. All of the talents that you don't manifest on a pet can still very realistically interfere with the next pet that you hatch with. And I think they need to institute a new rule. If a talent is manifested, it should be vastly more likely to get this talent when you hatch with another pet. If I have Pain Giver on my pet and I hatch with another pet, I should have a pretty decent chance of getting Pain Giver on that pet. I shouldn't have anywhere close to an equal chance of getting this Pain Giver talent and this epic talent that I don't even know what it is. The chance of getting this on my next pet that I hatch with versus this should be very, very different. I currently don't believe that the chances of getting Pain Giver over anything is that much higher, which is kind of nuts. I feel like they need to fix that. And if it's already in the game, they need to make the chances much, much more obviously significant. Because right now, the amount of times that I've trained pets and been like, yo, like this pet has 3 of the talents I want, this pet has 4 of the talents I want, surely it's easy. I'll spend 2-3 hours with the double pet XP making it, and I still won't make it sometimes. That's gotta change. The other thing that I really think holds pet training back, like a lot, is the fact that they treat energy elixirs like some kind of mystical premium option that could never be earned by the player without spending money. You might notice, right? If you're someone who lends a lot, you'll get a lot of hatching peppers, and what you can do with them is craft Perot's potions, which can help you reset your pet timer. You can make a hatching elixir, which hatches your eggs, and you can even make an elixir that makes your next hatch free. And yet, the one elixir that you need to literally train your pet, the one thing that you use as a resource when you train your pet, which is energy, it is still gatekept behind crowns. I could be wrong, but I don't recall any event where you can actually get an energy elixir other than Pet Promenade at literally the very end. And while this is cool, it is kind of sad to see that there aren't more sources of this. I think energy basically lets you do side activities more often, which lets you play the game more often. Considering there's fishing and gardening, and pet making that all require energy, why would you not make more opportunities for the average player to have access to energy elixirs? Why is this not a thing? In my opinion, energy should be dropping left, right, and center. Win a PvP match, have a chance of getting an energy elixir. Fight the final boss of Novas, have a 1% chance of getting an energy elixir. Train a pet to Ultra, maybe there's a very jackpot drop where you can get an energy elixir as a result. The options are literally endless, and yet all we have in terms of actually having access, these poor people that are trying to train their pets for the first time, they're expected to train a pet in order to earn the right to have an energy elixir. This is the only activity that you can get an energy elixir with, and it literally makes you train pets in order to earn points on your way to get it. I think that's ridiculous, and I think they need to do more when it comes to just elixir drops. I will say this, raids do drop elixirs, and I think that's a really, really cool start. I just don't think they should stop there, considering they're adding other forms of advanced combat like PvP and, you know, sigils that follow their own rules. They're classifying these things as, you know, things that you could do that are as challenging as raids, right? So why don't those have similar rewards? It doesn't make any sense for them not to. Beyond the weird-ass ways sticky talents work and, you know, the fact that energy is so inaccessible in this game, I think one thing that really annoys me the most about pet training is something that Wizard101 used to not have a problem with. And it's the fact that there seems to suddenly be a best pet body for every single school at max level. For example, right? Let's say that you have an ice blimp on an ice. It gives you not 1, but 2 extra 35 bubbles. If I can get 2 extra 35 bubbles, as in literally bubbles that are better than my normal bubble from a pet, why in the world would I ever want to make another pet? And why would I ever want to settle for less? And that's not the only example. There's other examples. And what that really goes to show is if you really want to do PvP or advanced combat, sometimes a pet body is extremely important. And there shouldn't just be one pet body that fits what you need. There should be way, way more. Now, Beast Moon isn't on right now, but if it were on, I could show you that every Beast Moon, they actually add a pet. And every Beast Moon, I'm very disappointed because it doesn't give any game-changing cards. And on the off chance that it does, it only ever gives 1 copy. I think we need to start seeing more pets that are just, you know, something that anyone can get. They give more copies of useful cards so that things like a Crown's pet, like the Blimp, aren't just running the meta for years. This has been the best pet for years. When pet bodies become less consequential, you remove half of what makes pet training so tedious and annoying to begin with. And I think that's important. I'm not saying pet bodies should be like completely, you know, not important. I just think there should be more options when it comes to, yo, I want a pet, but I don't want to be like super anal about the exact type of pet body I want. I just wanted to make this video because it's very obvious to me that, you know, pet hatching is going to be an area of focus considering they literally changed the kiosk this update. It's just, I was struck by how little this actually makes a difference compared to the regular kiosk, and obviously how little of a difference something like this makes to the regular pet training, you know, experience in general. I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I want to hear y'all's opinions. What are y'all's opinions about pet training? What are y'all's opinions on the kiosk update? Did this really do anything different for you this time around? And if there is another pet training, you know, update coming, what would y'all like to see? And as always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave us up if you're new. I look forward to reading all of y'all's comments. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah.